Hello everyone, it's Refresh, and I'm here to bring you a battle between two Dominaria sealed decks. In the gold sleeves, we have an Abzan deck, and in the black sleeves, we have a Rakdos deck. We're going to go ahead and play the best of three and see how well it goes. Let's start with some rolling. Abzan rolls 12. Rakdos rolls 9. Abzan will choose to be on the play. We'll draw 7 cards. Looks like we have some early plays and some later plays, so we'll go ahead and keep this. Rakdos will draw 7 cards. We have our lands, we have things to play, so Rakdos will keep this as well. Abzan will open with a forest, and will pass turn. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play a mountain, and Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan will draw. Abzan will play a plains. Abzan will play Sapling Migration, getting 2 sapling tokens. And Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play a swamp. Rakdos will play Voltaic Servant. At the end of Rakdos' turn, it will untap itself, and Rakdos will pass turn. Selesnya will untap. Selesnya will draw. Selesnya will play a forest. And Selesnya will pass turn. Rakdos will untap. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play a swamp. Rakdos will attack with the Voltaic Servant. Selesnya will play Gideon's Reproach on the Voltaic Servant. Voltaic Servant dies. Rakdos will play Urza's Tome, and Rakdos will pass turn. Selesnya will untap. Selesnya will draw. Selesnya will play a plains. Selesnya will attack with the 2 Saprolings. Rakdos can't block. Rakdos will take 2 to go to 18. Selesnya will play Call the Cavalry and get 2 Knight tokens. And Selesnya will pass turn. Rakdos will untap. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play a mountain. Rakdos will play Thalid Omnivore. And Rakdos will pass turn. Selesnya will untap. Selesnya will draw. Selesnya will play a swamp. Selesnya will play Sarah Angel. And Selesnya will pass turn. Rakdos will untap. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play a mountain. Rakdos will play Joyra's Familiar. Rakdos will play Jousting Lance at a discount because of Joyra's Familiar. And Rakdos will pass turn. Selesnya will untap. Selesnya will draw. Selesnya will attack with the Sarah Angel. Rakdos declines to block and will take 4 and go to 14. Selesnya will play Shanna Sisay's Legacy, who comes into play as a 6/6, and then Selesnya will pass turn. Rakdos will untap. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play a mountain. Rakdos will pay 3 mana to put the Jousting Lance on Joyra's Familiar, and then we'll play Stronghold Confessor for 1, and then Rakdos will pass turn. Selesnya will untap. Selesnya will draw. Selesnya will play a plains. Selesnya will play a kicked Sapling Migration, getting 4 sapling tokens. This makes Shanna a 10/10, and then Selesnya will attack with Shanna as a 10/10. Rakdos will chump Shanna with Stronghold Confessor. Selesnya will pass turn. Rakdos will untap. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play Eviscerate on Shanna Sisay's Legacy. Shanna dies. Rakdos will pass turn. Selesnya will untap. Selesnya will draw. Selesnya will play Woodland Cemetery. Selesnya will play Grun the Lonely King. Selesnya will attack with the Sarah Angel. Rakdos will block with Joyra's Familiar, trading. Sarah Angel dies. And Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos untaps. Rakdos draws. Rakdos plays a swamp. Rakdos plays Soul Salvage, getting back Joyra's Familiar and the Stronghold Confessor. Rakdos plays Stronghold Confessor kicked. and Rakdos passes turn. Abzan untaps. Abzan draws. Abzan will play Eviscerate on the Stronghold Confessor. Stronghold Confessor dies. Abzan will attack with Grundle the King, making it a 10-10. Rakdos will take 10 and go to 4. Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos untaps. Rakdos draws. Rakdos will tap 3, tap Urza's Tome, and draw a card, and then will discard the mountain. Rakdos will play the swamp. Rakdos will play Jorio's Familiar, and Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan untaps. Abzan draws. Abzan will play Invoke the Divine on Jorio's Familiar, destroying it and getting 4 life to go to 24. Jorio's Familiar down. Abzan attacks with everybody. Rakdos blocks Grundle the King with Thallid Omnivore, and will take 10 damage to lose at the hands of Abzan. And that is the end of game 1. We see Abzan up 1 game. We will reset and we'll be back for game 2. Game 2, Rakdos will choose to go first. We'll draw 7. We have things to cast, so we will keep this hand. Abzan draws. Abzan is missing green mana for the Llanowar Elves, but could cast a Sergeant-at-Arms on turn 3, and hopefully can draw into green mana in the following turns. So Abzan will keep this hand. Rakdos plays a mountain, and Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan draws. Abzan plays a swamp, and Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos draws. Rakdos will play a swamp. Rakdos will play Voltaic Servant, and Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan draws. Abzan plays a Woodland Cemetery. Abzan will tap the Woodland Cemetery for Llanowar Elves, and Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos untaps. Rakdos draws. Rakdos will attack with the Voltaic Servant. Abzan offers no blocks and goes to 19. Rakdos will play a swamp. Rakdos will play another Voltaic Servant. At the end of Rakdos' turn, it will use this Voltaic Servant's ability to untap itself, and this Voltaic Servant's ability to untap itself, and Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan untaps. Abzan draws. Abzan will play a Plains. Tapping this green, Abzan will play Shanna Sisay's Legacy as a 2-2, and Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos untaps. Rakdos draws. Rakdos plays a mountain. Rakdos will play Fight with Fire on Shanna Sisay's Legacy. Shanna takes 5 and dies. Rakdos will attack with both Voltaic Servants. Abzan will take 2 and go to 17. Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan will untap. Draw. Abzan will play a Forest. Tapping this for green. Abzan will play Slimefoot the Stowaway. Abzan will play Mesa Unicorn. And Abzan will pass turn. These Voltaic Servants should have untapped at the end of Rakdos' last turn, but they'll untap right now with the rest of the turn. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play Eviscerate on Slimefoot the Stowaway. Slimefoot dies. Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan untaps. Abzan draws. Abzan plays the Plains. Abzan will tap everything and play a Sergeant-at-Arms Kicked, and we'll get 2 soldier tokens, and Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos will untap. We'll draw. We'll play a swamp. Rakdos will play Yargle, Glutton of Urborg, and Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan will untap. Abzan will draw. Abzan will play Plains. Abzan will play Call the Cavalry, getting 2 Night tokens. Abzan will play Song of Freyalise, giving all the creatures the ability to tap to add 1 mana, and Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos will untap. Rakdos will draw. Rakdos will play a swamp. Rakdos will attack with Yargle, the Glutton of Urborg. Abzan will put 1 soldier in front of Yargle to die. Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan untaps. Abzan draws. Song of Freyalise triggers again. All the creatures can tap to add anything to the mana pool, and Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos untaps. Rakdos draws. Rakdos plays a mountain. Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan's turn. On Abzan's upkeep, Rakdos will play Cast Down on the Maze Unicorn. Maze Unicorn dies. Abzan draws. And Song of Freyalise triggers to the third turn. Each creature will get a +1/+1 counter, will become indestructible and have trample. Abzan plays a Benalish Marshal, giving them an additional +1/+1, and will attack with the 3/3 Lantern Werewolves, the 4/5 Sergeant at Arms, the 3/3 Soldier, the 4/4 Knight, and the 4/4 Knight. Rakdos will block the Sergeant at Arms with the Voltaic Servant, will block each Knight with Yargle and the other Voltaic Servant, and take 6 to go to 14, and lose all 3 of its creatures. Song of Freyalise was sacrificed after that third trigger, and Abzan will pass turn. Rakdos untaps. Rakdos draws. Rakdos will play Soul Salvage, getting back Yargle and a Voltaic Servant. Rakdos will play Voltaic Servant, and Rakdos will pass turn. Abzan untaps. Abzan draws. Abzan will play Memorial to Unity. Abzan will play Invoke the Divine on the Voltaic Servant, destroying it and getting 4 life to go to 21. Voltaic Servant down. Abzan will attack with everybody for 21 damage. Rakdos will suffer 21 damage and lose again. So Abzan wins best 2 of 3, the first 2 games in a row. Let me know what you thought about these games. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more such videos, hit subscribe. I'll be back with bringing these 2 decks against Face the Hydra from Theros next. Until then, this was Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.